Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to HG Radio, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. Here is your co-founder and host, Kim Becker.
Hello, gorgeous, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello, Gorgeous, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Our guest today is Alyscia Cunningham. Alyscia is an entrepreneur, author, filmmaker, and photographer who has contributed to the Smithsonian, National Geographic, Discovery Channel, and AOL. After the success of her first book, Feminine Transitions, a photography book encompassed with portraits of raw feminine beauty, Cunningham published her second photography book and upcoming documentary film, I Am More Than My Hair. The book features 138 portraits of 46 females and their stories of their experience with hair loss, as well as females who cut their hair in solidarity of a loved one. The film includes interviews and dives into the connection of their emotions in relation to the media's portrayal of beauty standards. Alyscia creates these and future projects with the consideration of art for social change. Hi, Alyscia, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. So as I was preparing for our interview today, I was trying to remember, how did we meet? Like, I know I've known you for so long and I followed your progress on social media, but I was trying to remember who introduced us.
I believe, that's funny because I was trying to come up with that as well. I think we were connected through, a women's networking group in Maryland. What's the name of it? I can't remember the name. It's a women's networking. You're in Maryland?
No, I'm in South Bend, but we used to have an affiliate in Maryland, in Frederick, Maryland.
Yes, and she's in Frederick. She actually used to be in Frederick, but then she moved somewhere else.
I wonder if it was it Tracy?
No, not Tracy. It was Women's Empowerment Group is the name of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
yeah, I can't pinpoint it, but it was so funny because, our circles travel, and I knew that it was somebody that had introduced us. And I was like, now I know that we were connected for a reason.
Right.
And, and I knew that a lot of it was this book project that you were doing. And I was trying to rack my brain. I'm like, now, how did I get to meet her? So I am so excited. I'm so excited that you accepted my invitation. I love the work that you do. Tell me about this. Because I know when you were doing the book, actually, you had reached out to me to see if we had any of our gorgeous women that were bald that would be interested in participating.
Yes.
Tell me more. I want to know about the inspiration for that. You're right. Society just judges us so much on appearance, number one. But where did the inspiration come for that project?
Oh, so that's a long story, but I'll make it short. I initially, when I was working on my first book, Feminine Transitions, I met up with a woman I connected with from somebody else who wanted me to do a talk about my book at her event. And she owns an organization that raises funds for women of color for cancer, the medical treatment of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were having a casual conversation, and she mentioned that, I would like for you to talk about your book. I'm going to have another event a month later where I'm going to be doing a big chop, and the proceeds go towards, wigs. So she said, if you know anyone, since you're going to post about it, if you don't mind just sharing that information, if anyone wants to do it. So I volunteered, on the spot. I was like, okay, that's, I've been wanting to cut my hair for a while. This is a great opportunity because, it's a great cause.
Yes.
So I did that, and then as time went on, I blogged about it, and I was like, well, this is what's happening, this is the event, no pressure, but if anyone is interested, if your hair goes towards a good cause. And I was shocked at the amount of criticism that I received for volunteering to cut my hair.
Really?
Yeah, I received a lot of criticism. People were more concerned about me cutting my hair and the way I would look. I heard many Bible quotes about a woman, her hair, her beauty, and the strength in your hair. Just really ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And in response to the comments, one woman who's with her daughter, that I know very well, said to me, oh my gosh, a woman's hair that's her beauty. Your beauty's gone with your hair's gone. So I said to her, as her daughter was there, well, would you tell your daughter the same thing if she involuntarily lost her hair? Would you think she's no longer beautiful?
Right.
And I think it kind of struck her, because her daughter standing right there. What if? Like, I guess the thought never really occurred to her. And as she's thinking, I was thinking, I had an immediate thought in my head, like, I'm going to create a project. Like, I want to do something where people can see that women don't need hair to be beautiful. So that's how I got the inspiration. It was from my personal experience.
Wow. And that is so true, not everybody loses their hair, as part of our program, but obviously many women do. And I don't know why, and I don't know whether I offend or not, but the first thing I do is I get my hands up and I reach for their head. Like I just want to touch their head. And maybe it's just a skin to skin thing, or maybe it's, just the heat, I don't know, and I always want to grab their head and kiss their forehead. I don't know what that is, but it's beautiful. Their head is
really
beautiful. It's beautiful.
It is, right. Yes.
It's beautiful.
And when the hair is gone, you get to see the real beauty of it.
Yes.
There's nothing there. There's no, there's no other mask.
That's right.
So you could just see the raw beauty.
That's right. So how did you find the candidates, and how did you basically pitch this project when you were looking for women to be a part of this book project that you were working on?
So initially, what I was doing, I was also ignorant in knowing what the hair loss is. I assumed initially that hair loss, when a woman loses their hair, that it was related to cancer. And through this journey, I learned that alopecia just means hair loss. So it could be due to radiation, it could be due to stress, or
that's right.
Anything.
That's right.
So initially, I started reaching out to cancer-based organizations and bumped into a road block because of the privacy practices. So a friend of mine was like, well, alopecia just means hair loss, so you can just reach out to any alopecia-based organization. So I started doing that, reaching out to alopecia, or like shaved heads is another one, or bald and beautiful groups on Facebook, groups on, support groups and things like that, saying, hey, I'm working on this project. If you know anyone in your group that would be willing to participate, this is what it is, you can share this. And so everyone came to me from an organization or a group, whether it's, like in-personal group or social media or otherwise. Yeah.
And so is the book complete now?
Yes, I published it last year, July.
Wow.
I'm working on I had my first public work in progress screening for my film just a few days ago, and I'm working on my finals to have my screening on October 20th at AFI Theater in downtown Silver Spring.
So tell me this then, what inspired you when you saw these women? What was it that moved you to say, telling their stories in a book isn't enough, we need to make a documentary? Tell me what inspired you.
Well, that actually was something that I went to a work in progress screening at Docs in Progress, which is a local nonprofit organization to help filmmakers produce their films. And I was doing, at that time initially, my focus was just a book. I was taking footage of the women and just like little snippets of their stories so I can use it as marketing material. And the whole, the biggest statement I had everyone say is, I'm more than my hair because, and I was using that to say, okay, this is what the book is about. This is alopecia, this is how beautiful these women are. And when I did the roundtable, just as an author, people, the viewers, the room was packed, and I was shocked at that. I was like, wow, a lot of people are interested in this, in the subject. And everyone in the audience was like, why is this not a film? Like, this is, you have the book, you have the words, but the film would say so much more, and your footage is beautiful. You need to make this a film. So that's how it ended up expanding into a film. And I feel like with the film, you have so much more of the story. There's so much more words and the story behind the story and the emotion and the connection that I really want the audience to be, because it's an emotion, it's educational. So I wanted people to understand not only the medical term alopecia, but also when you see women who are bald, there's certain things certain comments that you shouldn't make, certain ways that you should treat people, not based off what you think because they're different enough, so that's how it ended up expanding into that.
That's beautiful. Well, and I know too, and I make that, I guess, just because of the line of work that I'm in too. If I see somebody with a bald, I automatically assume that they have cancer. And it was interesting. I remember, it's been several years ago now. We were at a restaurant, and there was a woman that was there, and she looked very familiar to me. Well, it ended up that I'd never met her, but I had met her daughter-in-law, and she was bald. And I said to her, made the mistake of saying to her, so I assume you're actively going through treatment. What type of cancer do you have? And she said, nope. She said, I went through treatment 9 years ago. And there's a small percentage, it's not large, it's maybe 3 to 5% of women that lose their hair during chemotherapy that it never comes back. So because of her chemotherapy, she actually then had alopecia, which, can due to the stress of the treatment or whatever. But, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of seeing a woman and just assuming that because she doesn't have hair, she has cancer. And that's not always true. So the fact that you're bringing this to awareness, and like you said, some women shave their head just in solidarity of a friend. It's not even that they're actively going through treatment, but they're there to support a loved one who is going through treatment.
Yes, exactly. Right.
And so the film is complete, yes?
It is complete. It's just in the post-production phase, which is the editing. So I have my rough cut, and I'm just working on fine-tuning it for the fine cut, the final version.
And so tell me again, when do you hope to premiere it?
October 20th, from 5 to 7 p.m. at AFI Theater in downtown Silver Spring, Maryland.
I hope it goes bigger than just Maryland, because I hope that we get the opportunity to be able to see that. That is, that's what I've always said too. And I'm going to assume that, once you get to know these women and you hear their stories, you're inspired, right? You just don't, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but you can't tell the entire story with a picture.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
So share with me a couple of the women that truly inspired you through writing the book and making the movie. Share with me a couple of those stories.
There's so many of them, but so there is one. Everyone has turned into. I've become really close with everyone that I've interviewed, almost like family.
Yes.
And they have. So I would say one story is of a mom who she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. She is in Pennsylvania actually, but she moved to Florida recently, and she said she was prepared. She did all her research, did all the reading, and was prepared for the hair loss, and was prepared for the friends kind of fall off the face of the earth. I kept on hearing that women who in cancer treatment. And when she was in the shower, she said that she didn't expect it, although she was prepared for it. Once her hair actually started falling, like coming out as she was, washing her hair, she went into complete panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
And her son had embraced her. She came out, she was screaming, and her towel on and everything. And her son, held her and told her, "Mommy, you're still beautiful. Don't worry about your hair." And I was just so touched that actually, she and I were sobbing in that moment when she was telling the story.
Absolutely.
And it was like she was like, she felt this guilt because she felt like, this is my baby, and I felt like I should be protecting him, but in that moment he was protecting me. So that's one story. And there's another woman who actually lost her hair, Jamila. She's in Maryland, and from stress-induced alopecia. And she had, for many years, hid behind what she just, in her words, hid behind a wig, under a wig. And she felt like she felt like a prisoner because her husband, her kids, her parents, and her friends knew that she was coping with alopecia.
Wow.
And it became liberating at the point when she was like, "I'm tired, these wigs are itchy, I just want to take it off, and I want to be free." So those words stuck in my head, like, oh my God, like it's really freedom, to be able to just be completely yourself and to tell people to either you accept me as I am or you can go about your business, and that's fine. And then in the process afterwards of finally feeling the freedom to be herself, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And she said, although it was difficult, the one thing that she felt like she wasn't worried about that most women are worried about when it comes to having, radiation, well, she wasn't worried about losing her hair because she was already bald. So she made a joke of it, but she was like, it's still, it's something that, people ask her about and they figure that she's bald. I'm like, oh, okay, don't worry. But she said she was shocked at the fact that people were so concerned about maybe her hair would grow back, rather than asking her if she was, knowing if she was going to live or die, So
right.
It was like, wow, But that's just two of the many stories that kind of stick out right now. Yeah.
Well, and
strong women.
yes, and I don't think that they realize like how strong they are either.
Right.
I think that it sounds like what the film will do is actually show the strength and the inspiration that these women have.
Yes.
So take me through a little bit of the creative process. Like, I've written a couple of books myself too, but I've never taken one and like turned it into a movie. So what does that creative process look like to get it from, something that is not moving to this huge, amazing moving picture? What does that look like?
Wow, hard. No.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt that there is blood, sweat, and tears in this project. I have no doubt.
Right. Yes. Well, hard, but very, very, very rewarding. It was, because my background is not in film, so I just threw myself into this, and became so self-taught. I took a class on editing, just so I knew how to, figure it out on my own, so I wouldn't have to worry, because the funding is with film. That was the one thing I learned. It's so expensive. So I had to take myself through teaching myself so that I can save money, because if not, my expenses would have gone. I probably wouldn't have produced it if I didn't have had, if I didn't learn to do it on my own.
Right.
But I had to, take the editing classes, meeting with women and scheduling. I definitely had to get really good at being organized, because I had to schedule. Sometimes my interviews were in between them having to go to a doctor and having to pick up the kids. So I had like 20 minutes. And then I also have to pick up my children. So I had to get very, very good with balancing my schedule. Because I also own my husband and I own a construction company together. So sometimes I would leave the job. I have my equipment with me. I would go in and do an interview. I would go back on the job, and having to take training at night on some days, just so I can do editing, reconnecting with women to make sure that they submit their stories, so they all wrote their own stories. Going through the editing process to make sure that the words and the stories are right, hiring someone to help me with the marketing, although I did the bulk of it myself. It's been a 4-year process, and I've learned something new every day. But the one thing that I do know is that it takes lots of hard work and dedication. And I could have easily said, this is too much. I don't feel like doing this right now, but I have all these women who are depending on me and looking forward to the story, and I want to be able to share their story, so I stuck with it,
Right.
It's a long process.
And then will you actually take this to like some sort of a film festival? Do you hope to get it into more theaters across the United States?
Yes, I'm definitely do the film festival route. So that's another thing I have to do with film festivals. That anyone listening that is also a filmmaker or aspiring filmmaker, you have to make sure that you make the time frame for a film festival. So it has to be either a short or a feature length.
Okay.
A short, so I have to make sure that it's around between 25 and 28 minutes.
Is that yours is more of a short film?
It's a short, but I also have so much more footage. I'm considering making a web series.
Awesome! I love that idea. Yes,
right.
I love that idea.
Thank you. So that's what the process I'm doing now.
Holy cow! And but it's passion that drives you. It has to be passion that drives you.
Most definitely, passion. You couldn't do it without. I couldn't do it without passion. I don't think that anyone really, because it is all my blood, sweat, and tears. I put in time and my relationships, of course, that has been the most rewarding for me. And also as a mom, it's important for me for my children to see me not only start something, but also to finish it, into completion. So yeah, it has been just, I've just been amazed by the stories and the women. One little girl who was also in the film, and I just want to be able to share that, and hope that my hope is that it will change the perspective of people, that you see things differently, yeah.
It's interesting. I loved what you said about that many of these women have become like family. You form, it really is about relationship building too. It's not just about, hey, I want to use your story and I want to benefit from it. It's that you've built a relationship with these individuals. And, we found that same thing with Hello Gorgeous. It's not just a makeover. It's not just, I do a manicure or pedicure on you. Those 3 hours that we spend together, it really is the start of this beautiful relationship that then you continue to cultivate as years go on. And so I just commend you for all of the hard work and like I said, even the relationships and stuff that you've built through this. So tell me a little bit about, because you are busy and you own another business, what does your writing process look like? Do you get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to write and to make things happen? How do you balance all of that?
Well, so I don't sleep much. I feel like by the end, usually for some reason, I don't know why it is late at night, all of a sudden I'm buzzed and I feel more creative. So I'm a night owl. I'm up late, and then I have to get up early in the morning, but then there's, I feel like it starts around 3 or 4 days, kind of recycles back to me, going back to sleep, on a regular time and getting up, early again. So I feel like I catch up. But I do sleep with a notebook by my bed.
Do you really?
I get up with, I do, yes. And I write ideas down that come to me. I wrote this idea down, 3 o'clock in the morning, I think it was. I love my first book, but I just write. So even my blog, just a writing process, because I want to share a story. I want to make sure that it makes sense, so I just have to go through the process of making sure that I keep my words and the thoughts that come to me in my book. But I'm a night owl.
Do you second guess yourself a lot? Do you write something and then do you read it and then think, oh, that doesn't sound right, and then you change it and then change it again and then delay publishing it? Or do you just write down and whenever it's there, you just do it?
Yes, so I write it down and all I do is check it over for accuracy, that there's no misspelled words. I really just go with my heart, and then that's it. But the only thing with me is because I'm also a photographer, I always like to make sure that there's pictures that match with my words.
Yes.
Sometimes if it's not there, I actually go shoot it.
Do you really? You make it happen. If you don't have something, don't make it happen. That's awesome.
Yes. Right.
That's awesome. And so what advice do you have for writers that are, individuals that actually want to become writers? What's a piece of advice that you can give them?
Oh, wow. The one piece of advice that I was giving that I feel like is so effective is just do it. And even if that means you're starting off with a blog so that you have your personal work of things that you want to write and, kind of building your audience that way, connecting with people, especially on WordPress or having a social media. I know some authors have, they share words on Instagram or something. But then also it really comes down to also what is your goal? Do you want to do the newspaper route? Do you want to do magazine articles, editorials? But the first thing you have to do is actually have the writing. So you have to have it.
That's right.
Because the best thing you can do is have your own, have a blog. That's like your biggest, platform. And then the outreach.
And I've read that it's consistency, right? It's not just writing a blog, but it's that you're going to commit to, hey, I'm going to publish a blog once a week, or I'm going to publish a blog once a month, because people are looking for your stuff then, right? Am I correct?
Right. That's very true. Yes, exactly. And you have to make sure that you know exactly, if you're going to commit to that, make sure that you stick to your commitment. If it is once a month, once a week, maybe every 2 months.
Right.
Yes.
And so just very quickly, what is one piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
Oh, what would I give my younger self? I would say don't worry. It really doesn't make any sense. I've learned that as I've grown older. So to my younger self, at maybe the previous relationships or the previous heartache of not getting a grant or not getting what I thought that I deserved, just don't worry about it. The universe works it out eventually.
It does, doesn't it? I worked with a life coach for a while, and she would tell me that everything is in divine order. Yes. Whether you think that it's where it's supposed to be or not, everything is in divine order. So we've got just a minute left. Give me your website. Tell people where they can find you and find more about your book project and your movie project.
Yes, so they can find me on my website. It has all my social media links on there, but it's my name, Alyscia.com. So it's ALYSCIA.com. And on there, if anyone would like to support, I am doing a fundraiser through my fiscal sponsor, Docs in Progress, to raise funds to finish my film. So all the expenses go towards post-production. And that's also my website. And it's it's a tax deductible donation to the nonprofit. I have nonprofit status. I would really appreciate, anyone would like to support it that way.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being a guest today. I'm so glad we were able to reconnect, and I'm so looking forward to seeing your book. And I hope I get to see your movie, That I Am More Than Your Hair, because that's where my heart lies too. So I'm very excited. Thank you. Absolutely. If you have any questions or comments or would like to know more about the guest on our show today, feel free to contact me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org, or for more information about Hello Gorgeous, please visit our website, www.hellogorgeous.org. We invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and download our mobile app. Thank you for joining me today on Hello Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and until next time, stay gorgeous.
another beautiful day, walking in the sunshine, spending the time with you. Last night we had a good time, dancing in the moonlight and loving the night away. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like without you. I can't imagine that.